Hey everybody, welcome to the Geek Reloading podcast. I am your host Adam, and as always my co-host Josh.
Hello.
And dude, I was out again. I feel like I really have to stop saying as always your host, because I've been out every single time. The only person who's been consistent is you.
No, I keep saying as always anyways, because that's the way I mean it's good. I'm happy. I like it.
Yeah, I appreciate your wife jumping in though, and you guys talking about Ruby. That was actually a really fun episode. And you guys are getting really good on your own groove. I mean, I'm getting worried that you guys are going to replace me.
No, that can't. I mean, how are we going to hang out if I podcast with Mindy? I mean, that
is absolutely true. This entire podcast, like, it was 100% just because we wanted to hang out, everybody. You are reaping the spoils of us having to find an excuse to hang out.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
you're welcome,
that it all worked out.
And thank you.
There's like a meme about that where it's like, hey, we're two guys and we don't want to talk about our feelings. Let's start a podcast. And that's like,
oh, that is funny.
It's pretty real. So
we need to start a podcast about our feelings now.
Yeah, I mean, so this has been a good way that we've just like hung out, but we don't have a feelings one yet. But I have a feeling that one day we'll have like a how video games changed my life episode, and that's going to be a whole lot of feels. We'll see how it goes.
Filled with tears and happiness.
That's right. So for this episode, I decided it's so subjective, and there's so many that this is once again going to be like a episode 1 of this kind of series, and we just did the best power-ups in gaming. Now, power-ups, obviously, we're not talking about weapons specifically. We're talking about just the things that you can acquire that are going to give you either a buff or a new ability or whatever that kind of make it so then the game becomes more interesting or just becomes more badass. Some of them
or just different, honestly. Like, honestly, this was a struggle because I'm like, oh, what about this? And it's a weapon. And then, oh, what about this? No, it's a weapon. I tried
to be clear because I was doing the same thing. I was like, well, this is a badass gun. Oh, it's a gun. All right,
it's a gun. Yeah.
So These are ones that I found some good ones, and you found some good ones. So I'm stoked to go through this.
Yes. All right, so you got first.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one I think everybody knows, and it's either you love them or you hate them. It's something from Mario Kart. No, it's not the blue shell because that's cheap shit. It's the red shell.
I was wondering if you were going to talk about the blue shell, because the blue shell is pretty badass.
I think the blue shell is just bullshit. Like, I have a problem with it.
It's cheap as hell, but it's also pretty badass. The red shell, I like. That's a good deal.
The red shell is just cheap enough that it's annoying, but also you understand that there are certain areas in the level that I could get away from a red shell, or I could get rid of it with like the boombox thing, or I could get rid of it by having something behind me, right?
Yeah, like so there's plenty of ways to get past that.
Yeah, but if somebody has 3 red shells and you hear that like that circular noise, that little like carousel noise, and you see 3 red shells, you're like, ah, damn it, I do not have that many dodges, so I have to use the landscape of the track and whatever I have hiding behind me, you know?
Oh, or even better, just get behind them, because then it won't come after you.
That is true.
Let him go after someone else.
So the cheap move that I use when I'm playing Mario Kart with my wife that she hates is that if there's a blue turtle shell, I will almost guarantee if I'm in first, I will stop right next to her when it's ready to drop on me, so it'll get both of us, so we'll both start at the same time.
That is funny. That is me.
If I stay in first, it's going to hit me and she's going to fly right past me. But if she's somewhat near me and then it's getting really close, I'll just slow down and I'll let it take us both. It's cheap, but it's effective.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how to do it.
Yeah, and I was like torn between this and I think it was Mario Kart 8, but also I really like the bullet feature when you're in the back of the pack.
I really like the bullet bill feature. Like it usually is not gonna get you from last to first, but it'll give you a chance.
it'll get you back in the game. Like if you've been trailing between 10th and 12th, like it'll get you back in the game. You're like suddenly in the middle of the pack and you're like, well, I could actually maybe rank up. And in some cases, if you work hard, you can get to the front. And that's why I like that one, because it's not like overkill. It's just kill enough.
Yeah, exactly. I really like that because I suck and the game takes pity on me quite often.
The game takes pity on everybody. Don't worry about it, man.
It definitely helps out when you suck better, like more.
So right. You got the next one, man. So
the Mario Kart, for some reason Mario Kart reminds me of Smash Brothers.
Sure, that makes sense.
It's because I want to play Smash Brothers and I don't want to play Mario Kart.
And that's fair.
But so I was thinking about Smash Brothers, and I could go on forever about the Smash Brothers, but I was thinking the Smash Ball, where you get these like super moves. I think they're so cool. I love seeing all the different super moves. Like I've literally been like, I'm not gonna get this so I can see someone else use it. Like I know what my character does. But then I started thinking about it and I started looking through because I was trying to remember what it was called, the Smash Ball. But I realized my favorite like power-ups in Smash Brothers is the Pokeballs.
Yeah, dude.
I run to the Pokeballs always. Any Pokeballs that drop. Because those Pokemon are just an extra character there doing their little thing, and it's so awesome. I love the Pokeballs.
And also the fact that when you throw it, if you connect with somebody, it also has them take damage.
Yeah, it's usually a pretty hard hit, actually. So
yeah, I always love it when you're playing and someone throws a Pokeball at you and it turns into a Goldeen and they can't do anything.
Yeah,
that's always nice.
Flops around.
Yeah, but no, Pokeballs are fun because it does also kind of eliminate an area of the actual map. Especially usually, like there's usually one spot that like, okay, now that's hands off for everyone else, so you can box them in and whatnot. Now I'm talking like I play a lot of Smash. I don't. I'm awful at it. And so I only know from past experience. That's one of those games that I never got good at. I got okay at, but I never got good at. And so my friends who were doing Smash tournaments and were playing Smash all the time, like, I'll jump in, but you're going to womp on me so quickly.
I really, with Smash, I think if you kind of get an idea of what character you're good at, and really, it really depends on how you play, because then you've got the people that they're just going to like beat everyone around them, but as soon as you get them off the edge, they're dead. They're done.
Yeah.
Or you get those characters that they're off the edge more time than not. And
yeah. Who is it? Like Fox is one of them.
Fox is really good at staying in the game. Kirby is my go-to floater.
Yeah.
He's terrible, and but like when you have one of those guys, like drop a Pokeball, get a Charizard blowing fire next to the edge, and that character can't come back after that.
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
I love that stuff. So
you know, like honorable mention from Smash, the Donkey Kong hammer is always fun too.
That. Oh yeah, because I mean it's so easy to use and fun, but it's like, and you got the sound, the music, and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then also when the head falls off and you're just waving that stick around like an idiot, that's always fun.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, we could go on and on about Smash Brothers power-ups because that is so. Yeah. Anyways.
It's all about the power-ups of Smash. And so, like I said, this one is like our first one in best power-ups in gaming because there's so many across so many different game genres. Like, these are the ones that were off the top of our heads. We're like, this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. The next one I've got, this one I love, but I only love it from specifically one of the games. It's good in all of them, but it's the Holy Water from the Castlevania series. Because the Holy Water as a power-up is just, it's a firebomb.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. Like in other ones, like it usually does like you throw it on the ground, there's a spread of fire, and then it disappears pretty quickly. But the one game that I remember from specifically is Castlevania 64, which nobody else played apparently but me, and that was it.
Oh, I did. I hate that piece of shit.
Yeah, the game is not conventionally good. I beat it, and it was hard and clunky, like most 64 games, let's be honest. But like, I remember specifically the holy water was the one power-up I always wanted, because you could huck them and they would land on the ground. It would create a zone of fire, but that zone of fire would last for a long time. And then you could also throw multiples of it and it would stack that damage. And so, especially in boss battles and whatnot, that holy water, I would just completely just spam an area with fire, and then I would just add extra damage on top of it with my whip or with my magic fireballs. And it was just overwhelming, and it made you feel like a badass when you just had this entire like wave of blue fire around you while you're also destroying the boss. So that was like my like specific reasoning. But it's also really good in the Symphony of the Night series. It's also good in what was the one on Xbox, something of Darkness, Curse of Darkness, that one.
Really? I'm thinking like the one that it really got for me with the holy water was Simon's Quest, because it like you were so it was really not great movement, and so you didn't have a lot of access to attack things on the ground or open up areas. So like that one was really nice that way.
Yeah, I noticed that most of my ones that I really liked were based on games that it was three-dimensional, like, 3D platformer. Lament of Innocence, Curse of Darkness, 64. All those ones where if you're having stuff coming at you left, right, front, and back, you can drop them around you, and that's where it kind of would help you kind of protect your sides or front and back, whatever. But yeah, I could totally see with the older games when it's clunky, it would totally make sense to like those too.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah. All right. Okay, so
you have to explain this one to me, because I still haven't played Breath of the Wild all the way.
Okay, so there are 4 champions in Breath of the Wild. So this one is Rivali's air column. So, in Breath of the Wild, you have 4 champions. They all had a specific like power that they were known for. In their own world, in their own little area of the country. And so Rivali's had this power. He's a Rito, which are bird characters. But he had this power that not many did, where he actually created a wind column. Like he did this spin and created a wind column, and then could use that wind column to get to higher areas. And so it was like his specific power. So when you go and you free his soul in the game, he gives you this wind column power. And the movement in Breath of the Wild is so nice and so just the best part about that game, in my opinion. And this air column actually helps you to get to places a lot easier. So instead of having to climb up a cliff, you can use this column of wind to throw you up, and then you hang glide from that column of wind, and it stays for a little bit, so you can use it to get to the place again and again for a little bit. But it just makes the movement so much easier in so many ways. I've seen this used in a lot of videos where people are like speed running, or when they're trying to like cheese a level, like a certain area. They're trying to get to a certain area that technically the developers probably didn't want you to reach that early on in the game, and they'll use this air column to cheese their way onto a different area. Well, and there's a lot of like little things that are annoying enough that I was just like, I don't want to deal with. Yeah. Like there's a what is it? There's a shrine that you have to get to by walking this little maze of flowers, and if you get anywhere close to the flowers, this lady that's tending the flowers freaks out at you, and you start over outside of the maze. And I realized after like my third playthrough, I realized I'm never going to that island without this wind column anymore. Because I just
so you can land exactly where you need to land.
Yep, because there's nothing around in the area that's tall enough that you can jump off of and land in there. So I just wait until I get the wind column and then just float right in, and not a problem, and it's easy.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. All right, so the next one that I have, it's one of the OGs, it's one of the originals, and honestly, every single time it shows up, and it's been showing up in so many different other things, it's just, you automatically want to try it out, and you obviously want to spam that button as well, and that's the fire flower from the Mario games. And I said Mario games because also you can get the fire flower in Mario Kart, and you can spam and throw fireballs at everything in front of you, and
Smash Brothers.
In Smash Brothers. And so the fire flower is like an original one. I feel like
is.
That and the mushroom are probably a few of the most recognizable ones out there.
Yeah, I was kind of questionable about this one, because I was thinking, why aren't you thinking like no, I just forgot, the leaf from Super Mario Brothers 3.
The Tanuki suit?
No, not the Tanuki suit, just like the raccoon suit.
Yeah, that's a Tanuki. It's a Tanuki suit, good sir.
Nope, Tanuki is the one that turns into stone. There is a raccoon, and then there is the Tanuki is the upgraded version.
Oh my god, don't make me type stuff. I'm gonna have to find this out.
Yep, I was gonna put on the Tanuki suit as well, because the Tanuki suit is nice because you can also turn it into a statue and also fly.
Tanuki suit versus leaf suit.
Yeah, see?
It's a raccoon leaf. Oh my god, my mind's blown. Okay, it's a raccoon leaf and a Tanuki suit.
Yes.
My goodness. I'm not gonna lie.
Now you know.
I knew that they were two different suits in the back of my brain, but I have never, ever since like they've talked about the Tanuki suit, I've always assumed they were both the same. I have learned something today. My goodness.
Welcome to the woke world.
Welcome to 1993. Mario. Yeah, cool. Crazy. I learned something new today. All right.
But well, I mean, granted, like the fire flower is awesome, and I'm gonna go right into the next one, which is the feather cape from Super Mario World.
Yep.
Like, I'm saying this, the fire flower is nice. It is a good, weapon, like in the first Mario Brothers. But I would say it gets dropped off pretty quickly, because like in the third, I'd always pick the leaf suit. But in Super Mario World, I'll go out of my way and across the map so I can get a cape rather than that.
Here's the thing, I agree, but the fire flower is just consistent. Like
it is
with the leaf suit. Oh my god, the leaf raccoon suit. My life is a lie. Okay, besides that, the Tanuki suit, all those things. The Tanuki suit, sure, the stone thing was kind of useful because it made you invincible, but the fact that you had to get up close and whip your tail, that was like, as a weapon, it's not super awesome. But finding secret areas on the level, that's the only way you can. But as a straight power-up weapon, I would say the flower, but we're just talking about best power-ups. So I think you might be actually right that the feather cape would probably be a better combo than just the fire flower.
Well, and see, I never worried about getting up close to things, because you can always stomp on things' heads. Like, that's not a problem. But
that is true.
And 9 times out of 10, the stuff that you couldn't use your fire flower on, you couldn't stomp on their heads. So it was kind of like, a lot of those you could still whip with your cape. So, I don't know. Thinking like the chomps. But but yeah, like it's just still like the mobility. I really like the mobility of
that's fair.
The cape. So
I went for like iconic when I should have thought of usability, because I think you're right.
Yeah, but again, like the fire flower is iconic. Like that is, that and the star and the mushroom, plain and simple. Those are iconic and will always will be.
It's true. Okay, well, you did your feather and cape in Super Mario, so this next one, It's such an overpowered one. It was always ridiculous, but I loved using it. And that was Brick's Berserk perk on Borderlands. It's like the very first perk you get on Borderlands. It's like his core special move.
Okay. Because I never really played Brick. I never cared about him.
Did you ever play through with somebody who played as Brick?
No.
Okay. So it's like the Gunzerker with Santiago, but instead he literally drops his guns and he pulls out his gloves that are covered in bolts, and he just melees everything. But when you go through his skill tree, you can buff it even more. So like every single kill gives you an extra quarter of a second of the Berserk, or every single kill gives you an extra like 30% in defense or extra life or whatever. So when I was playing through, I played through with Nick, and he played as who's the sniper in one? Morgan? What's his name? Anyway, he played as a sniper, which is like a long range, and I played as Brick, which is just a tank, you know?
Yeah.
And every single time I'd use that Berserk, he would just lob grenades in my direction, and then I would just womp on stuff. And it was so overpowered that I'm pretty sure that we ended the boss battle, with me punching and him just lobbing as many grenades as possible, because it was so ridiculously overpowered when it first came out.
That is pretty funny.
I gravitate towards these kinds of characters though, because I like Santiago in 2 a lot, and then in 3 I was playing as another like tank kind of character, and so I don't know, maybe that's just my MO.
I could see that. I always pick the character that has like something that I can drop and then I can run away. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's
fair. But we got to go through another co-op game, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has. There's one coming up that I need to convince you to play again. But
okay,
all right. So my next one is Pac-Man's Power Pellets. Like I was looking online and I'm like, this is like the original power-up.
Yeah, it's like, up there, man.
I don't think there is another power-up that came before Pac-Man's Power Pellets.
I don't know if there is.
Well, and it changed the game so much. Like, from the point of, I gotta run away, to I'm the attacker now. So
yeah,
I thought that needed at least a mention on here.
As like an OG power-up.
Yeah, like this is the original power-up that makes the game different and special.
No, for sure. And you're right, because that is literally the only time that you go from like from hunter to the hunted or whatever. Like it's the only time that shifts.
Yeah, the only, like, instead of running away constantly, it was the first time that you get to run towards, which is kind of fun to interesting to know.
It's true. So the next one, it's like a combination, and they all kind of do a little bit of the same thing. Well, not all of them, but I put Witcher 3, and I specifically put the Places of Power and the Grindstone and Work Table. And so, like, Places of Power, I don't know how far you got into Witcher, Josh, but I mean, like, you can find areas around the map that'll boost one of your Witcher magic signs. So you can find an Axii, like, one, and it'll boost your Axii, or you can find Igni and it'll make your fire more powerful. But the Grindstone and Work Table are almost always next to, like, blacksmiths or armorers. Yeah. And when you hit those, it gives you a timed buff on whichever one it is. So a Grindstone will give you a 20% attack bonus on all of your swords. And then a Work Table will give you a 20% defense bonus on all of your armor. And you find them and you just click use, and you'll hear like a little noise like he's working on a Grindstone or on a Work Table. And then those buffs stay on. It's like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And so you can go to one place, repair all your weapons and hit those two, and then your weapons and armor are also like power boosted.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah, so if you're starting a new mission, or you're going to go fight the boss in a mission, if you hit the Grindstone and the Work Table on the way out, you have an automatic boost. And so it's one that people use in older games, you'd have like something you'd actually like have in your inventory, but this was nice because there was almost always one in major cities, and you would just find it, and it was almost like, oh, cool, I'll keep this in mind, and then you could always just go back to that when you needed to.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and
Nice.
also I did mention one other one because when I first started on Witcher 3, I'm like, this game is a little hard in areas for me. I'm looking for some simple boosts, and so I found the grindstone on the work table, and then actually a buddy of mine was like, dude, make sure to add on your like skill tree to boost gourmet. Like once you activate it, it makes it so then in Witcher 3 you regain vitality, which is your life bar, by eating food, right? Well, gourmet works just like the grindstone and the work table. So if you eat a thing of food, then you suddenly have a timer that'll continue to rejuvenate your life for 10 to 20 minutes.
Oh, that's nice. That's really good to know.
Yeah, so for people who are just starting out and they're like, man, I just keep on getting depleted too quick, if you put in gourmet and you activate it, it's like kind of like baby mode for you to start in Witcher, and then when you get good enough, you can turn it off. So I used it for like the first probably once I activated it, I used it for probably 15 hours, 20 hours until I got good enough with my oils and my bombs and all the other things, and then I was like, okay, I can turn this off. But it's a nice boost just if you need that extra help.
That I definitely do. I need I'm coming around to the baby mode, honestly.
Dude, I play games for story, and like I tried to go back to Bloodborne, and I was like, it's too hard.
Do I really want to kill myself after this?
I play games to relax. I don't play games for a challenge, and so it's hard for me to be like, yeah, kick my ass for 2 hours. That's how I want to spend what little time I have to game.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so my next one is the adrenaline shot in Left 4 Dead, and I hadn't really thought of it. I hadn't really thought of this, but then it's like those times where, if you're not supposed to run away and like through the levels, I think you're supposed to kind of take it slow, keep together, all that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some of those times where you can get that adrenaline shot and you can run through stuff, trigger a couple things, and get back to your group before there's a problem. And I really, it was fun. It changed the gameplay for me.
Yeah,
quite a bit that way.
I love the adrenaline shot on Left 4 Dead for that exact reason, and also like at the very end when you're achieving your final goal, whether it's running to the helicopter or getting on the boat, and you're gonna have enemies coming at you, but you would much rather power through them. That's like a perfect time to hit an adrenaline shot as well, like right at the very end.
Yeah, exactly.
And I loved the effect it had, or the effect they created when you took it. Like your ears kind of start getting muffled. You have that high-pitched hiss because the adrenaline's kicked in, just like it would actually happen if you really had adrenaline pumping through your veins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
that entire one,
the colors kind of bleed out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just really focused.
Yeah, dude. When I think of when I was looking at power-ups, I didn't even think of this one, but when you wrote it down, I was like, oh, damn, that is a good one.
Yeah. Anyways.
So the next one I have is a classic from my days when I used to host Halo parties and stuff, and that's the overshield on Halo.
Hey, this one is a really good one. This is one of the best power-ups I can think of. Like,
it's just nice. It's just nice to have. Like when you saw an overshield and you were like, don't mind if I do. I'll take that with me.
Thank you.
Yeah. I can survive a rocket blast if I jump at the right time now. What about that?
Yeah.
I can survive a shotgun blast to the front of my head if I jump just right at the right time. Like, it was the best thing. And on the campaign, it made you, like, unstoppable for way too long. But in, like, I'm thinking multiplayer specifically. We used to play... multiplayer. We used to play one-shot shotguns, and we'd still have invisibility and the overshield pop up, but you had no regular shield. And so you were always going for the camouflage, or you were going for the overshield. And because pretty much any other time, if somebody saw you, they were probably going to get you in one shot. But then every once in a while, one person would get the invisibility, and the overshield, and then you got this invisible bastard who's way too overpowered, who's just clipping everybody as fast as he can.
Yeah, and just getting that huge kill streak real quick.
Yeah, for real. Oh, I miss Halo nights, man.
I understand. I do too.
So, all Josh, to wrap up your amazing list, you have another one of the best ones ever. Let's have you go for it, man.
So I was thinking about games that I love and all that, and I realized like BioShock has a lot of good, and I started thinking about the what are they called, the powers that you can get.
Yeah.
And none of them were none of them were more of them were weapons. And so I realized the telekinesis can be used as more of just a power up, as a get people away from you and keep their, like, when they throw grenades, I loved grabbing those grenades and then throwing them back at it.
Yeah, dude.
And that's what I kept on, like, instead of, because I didn't want to use up all my Eve, so I always had telekinesis on, because it took very little if I messed up and I grabbed something I didn't want to, but it was still very useful.
Yeah, it had a really good balance between usefulness and how much power or how much energy it took. What was it, Eve?
Yeah.
I remember specifically, I think I used only like 3 of the plasmids. That's what they are. I used like 3 of the plasmids pretty consistently, and telekinesis was probably the most used, because also they would specifically hide stuff out of reach that you could telekinesis to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just, like, and it really wasn't a weapon, but it was definitely a great power up.
Yeah, but it was cool when you got to like throw something explosive and throw it at them and then blow it up and stuff. That stuff was fun.
Oh yeah, and I really liked being able to use it as, like, grabbing, like, when you had the tripwires and stuff, you could grab the arrow out of the wall and, you know, even just move it around a little bit to, like, use it, you know, to get rid of that tripwire. So
yeah, no, I like it, man.
Throw it into someone else's face.
You had such a good list, man. I feel like I didn't bring my A game. You brought a lot of good ones.
I don't know, man. You had some good stuff there.
So this is obviously, like, there are too many power-ups. So this was just the first one of these that we're doing. Dude, we're coming up on a year. How crazy is that?
Whoa, that is crazy.
That is crazy. But we're coming up on a year, and so maybe at the year mark, we'll start maybe redoing some of the ones that we knew had more top lists. You know, like maybe we'll start doing some more of those. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is that's the end of our episode. We hoped you guys liked it. All of our info is at the stinger at the end. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at geekreloading@gmail.com. We have been having a lot of fun. Dude, we are slowly but steadily gaining followers, little by little. It's been pretty exciting. Entertaining. So everybody who's not our friends or family, hi. We appreciate you. You guys are fantastic.
And our friends and family, we still appreciate you because we know you're still there.
You guys were the first ones here. You guys were the ones that brought the thunder at the beginning. We'll never forget you. You know, it's going to be like one of those acceptance speeches. We'll be like, hey, and also our friends and family, the real people who brought us together and made sure that we had an amazing podcast from the jump. Anyway, so we hope you guys had fun, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Geek Reloading Podcast with Adam and Josh. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Have a question? Email us at geekreloading@gmail.com. Theme song titled Rocket by Kevin MacLeod. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on your preferred podcast service.